Okay. Okay. Now, after countless, oh my gosh, after countless technical issues, I think I'm ready to do this, y'all. So give me 2 seconds. I'm going to split my screen real quick so I can have the number 5 issue of Path of the Pale Rider accessible to me, because that's what we're talking about tonight. I'm Fogbreaker Studios. Surprise, surprise. I'm bringing on Laurie Calcaterra, writer and creator of Path of the Pale Rider. And tonight, we also have the artist of Path of the Pale Rider, which is a pretty sweet event because I feel like issue 5 is beginning number 2. I feel like that this starts the next story, and this story, I think that it gets fun. I mean, it's been fun and it's been super fresh and it's been super original. Issue 5 makes it even more fresh and more original because you're a little bit more familiar with the story, but also you got a new artist. So the energy is fresh. The you're familiar with the characters, so your perception of it now is you have a map. It's like now it's like, where are we going? We have a map. So not only do we have a map, we have the map maker and the artist on the map. I'm done talking, I think, but hold on, because I do have a show coming up on Valentine's Day that I want y'all to know about, that I switched my arts to smaller style, and I love it. I've been super happy with it. They've gotten some pretty good receptions. We can talk about those later, but Valentine's Day, if you're in Lewiston, Maine, come and see me at Strawberry Fields Apothecary on Strawberry Ave, right off Main Street. They sell good stuff that I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about on YouTube, but I have art that you don't need an ID for, but you might love it all. I think you should stop by. So with no further ado, Path of the Pale Rider, issue 5, Kickstarter now is available. I think it's out. I think the Kickstarter is live now. I'm gonna get Laurie to send me the link, and I'm just gonna post it at the bottom of the screen for the duration of our talk. So it's just a story that deserves the light. If you love comics, if you love zombies, if you love fresh, I've said that word so many times I should have put it in the caption, but it's really fresh, y'all. Like, it's a super original take on zombies, and I was bored of zombie stories until I talked to Laurie, in all honesty. So it's gotten nothing but better every episode. They're knocking their Kickstarters out of the park. This is why. Let's talk about it. Laurie,
the
welcome.
word of the night
Gilbert,
tonight is
welcome.
Fresh.
Fresh.
Hi,
This
Jason.
is a fresh
Hi.
story. How's
Hi,
it
hi,
going?
everybody.
Thank you so much for jumping on. Like, Gilbert,
Yeah.
nice to meet you. I'm
How's it
Jason.
going?
It's so cool.
Gilbert.
Love your art, man.
Thank you.
Everything's looking
Appreciate it.
great. So I can't wait to ask y'all some questions and pick y'all's brains. And Laurie, I can't really do anything but let you do justice to your book, because this is your story, and it's like I feel privileged to have been on from the beginning.
You're breaking up a little bit,
and now it's like, okay.
Oh no.
Hold on. Let's see.
I hear him pretty good.
I'm not gonna panic this time, y'all.
That might just be a Laurie.
I was gonna try to turn my camera off. You hear me? I hear you guys both pretty sharp. Let's see. Has it gotten any better for you, Laurie?
Is it me or is it Jason that's breaking up?
I can hear Jason pretty good, and I can hear you as well.
Yeah, I totally hear you crystal clear. I hear both of y'all crystal clear.
Might be a Laurie thing.
I have.
I think it's me. I'm gonna close a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Because I heard like bits and pieces of what you were saying, which is so. I was like, "Come on, he's saying good stuff. I need to hear it."
Sorry.
Is this the part where I tell
No.
people about the story?
I think you should catch us up on where not the
got bad
whole thing that
connection.
we did the last episode. I'm gonna try to close some of my screens to see if that helps us out any. Now that I know how to make the sound work on mine.
I'm gonna go out and come back in.
All right. Okay, sounds good. So while we're
Like,
waiting,
I think it's me.
Gilbert,
I'll be right back.
Why don't you?
Dang it.
Okay, no sweat.
We lost her.
Gilbert, fill me in. Like, what's your background before Path of the Pale Rider? Like, what else have you done? Where else can we find your stuff?
Dude, I don't really have like a dedicated website. I just draw and I take my stuff to like Comic Cons and stuff like that. I mean, so I do have some stuff available.
That's pretty much where I am now. That's pretty awesome.
I do have some stuff available at a comic book shop called Heroes and Fantasies. They're a pretty big comic book store here in San Antonio. And I've done a couple of comic books with Charter Comics before I met Laurie. That's actually how I met Laurie, was at a Comic Con.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the convention vibe. Like I don't have a dedicated website either, but I try to get out and do as many shows as I can with my art. And I've really enjoyed it. And it gave me a little bit more confidence because it connected me a little bit differently than what I felt like I was getting on social media all the time.
Yeah. I really kind of had a late start in the whole thing, you know. It was kind of like I think it was like I met my wife in 2019, and she was the one that was kind of like, you should probably do something serious with your artwork. So I drew some Ninja Turtles and I posted them online, and people started asking for prints of them, and then before you know it, it's like I start taking my stuff to comic book stores, and I'm like, are y'all interested in working with a local artist? And they're like, yeah, bring your stuff in. And you know, they set me up with a miniature in-store con. And then I tried a big Comic-Con, and then it was just like a snowball sort of thing. I just went from one con to the next, to the next, to the next. And I think it was 2021 was my year of like, you know, diving in head first into all. I mean, it was supposed to be like maybe 12 cons in the year, but it ended up being somewhat like maybe like, I would think it's like close to 30.
Oh my God.
It was too much. It was like every other weekend.
It's pretty crazy because you do the comic stuff so well, because it's a different field than just sitting down and making a print or sitting down and doing an idea. There's that I believe is expected when you do things like this type of comic. Like, this is a well-produced, it's getting established, and your consistency is there for the book. So it made it a lot easier to transition to a new artist on a story that you're invested in. So I say good on you. Like I say that you've done pretty awesome. And like there's none of the energy was missing from the first four. So that is like, you guys are in like a different, it's like round 2 of the playoffs now, because it's like, okay, we know the story, like we love the story so far, but not only did you end the first season, and it's always hard to start the next season strong, but doing it with a new cast, because it's not like you bring in one actor from the old show. This is all how you and Laurie finalize it. So you guys nailed it, and it just feels like a new story, which is all you can really ask for when you got something that's solid in the beginning. So
I think
all high marks from a reader.
Thank
I think
you.
100% you're right. Laurie had Marco DeFeo
Marco
before,
DeFeo.
and I mean, the guy did a phenomenal
Yep.
job on the first 4 issues. He killed it. I think the artwork is outstanding. And, you know, before I met Laurie, I had done 2 comic books before hers. And those were my first, like, I'm going to try and see if I can do this. The first one, it came out pretty good. And the second one came out better. But then I think once I got into Laurie's comic book, I was ready for it because hers had a lot of like action. It was a challenge. There was a lot of stuff that she had written in there, stuff that I was uncomfortable with at first. But I feel like I've warmed up to her sense of humor, and her morbid interests.
That makes one of us.
You know something about that? Jason has the same sense of humor, so I'm just saying. That's why he and I get along so well.
Yeah.
But do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember, Gilbert, when we first started talking about Path? I was like, I might have a project for you. You know, what are you looking for if you were to do a comic? And you're like, gosh, I really want more action. And I was like, mm-hmm. It was like,
well, you started listing them out. You were like, it's got, because I said it needs to have some action, because I've done some back and forth conversations, and you know, it's fun, but I need something that has action. I need something that it's a little bit more gritty, something that's going to challenge me. And as I'm saying all these things, I can just see her smile, you know, getting bigger and bigger. Like this is going to be the one for you. Then I think
I was like, oh, good. I have all those things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, everybody says that, but when Laurie says it, like it's pretty accurate. Yeah. I told Laurie when me and Ronnie did issue 1, I was like, oh, this feels like it was supposed to be a TV show. Like there's a lot of motion in the there's a lot of motion in the writings that sometimes doesn't translate to panels on a page. But you guys have made it work. Laurie has made it work. She's hired now 2 super talented artists that keep up with it and get it, because your style is different than Marco's. It is, because you guys are 2 different artists.
Yeah.
But
100%.
I feel like for the direction, okay, you know what it feels like? This feels like you're at the top of a hill in a shopping cart, and somebody's like, all right, it's pretty cool. It's a cool view, but I'm getting ready to let this go.
Yeah.
And you just have to stay inside. But it's gonna be really fun if you don't slide out of it. You're gonna love it. And like just having I've been fortunate enough to talk to writers as a writer like Laurie, like Gary Hodges, and it's just the energy has to match. And like I would love for you to get into just like a super quick how did we get here, and then like let's talk about 5, because there's one thing in particular that has happened with these books that I've been like, okay, Laurie, you gotta just stop writing. And like once again here we are. Like it's writing is relatability, and if you can like catch somebody's attention by reminding them of what's going on outside of the comics bubble without hammering it over their head, or even without a direct opinion, it's just like the temperature is the temperature. And this book does it nails the temperature once again, like through world-changing events in real life and in this undead world that you guys are telling us a new story through. So with no further ado, I would love to just hear you guys both, but I would like to get some from Laurie, since we didn't get to catch up the right way but the first time, which was totally not our fault. I gotta say whose fault it was. It wasn't our fault, but all right, Laurie, it's yours. Go for it.
All right. It's totally technology. it's technology that's doing it, and hopefully it's still working because I'm starting to lose.
Oh no, man.
Yeah, we lost.
It's going to be one of those nights. I'm going
All
to try logging in on my phone because as soon as
All right,
I
I
have
hear
to
you now.
talk, it has a problem. You can hear me now. I'm going to try.
All right. So while you're talking, yeah.
Jeez.
I'm
Hold
going
on
to
a
stop
second.
my
Let's see.
camera
Okay.
while you're talking.
That might help.
And
I'm
I'll
going to
see if
try and
that
see if
helps us
logging
out at
into
all.
StreamYard on my phone might make a difference because I feel like my computer has just been funny all day. Anyway, so Path of the Pale Rider is a world where death has been broken. So your body can die, but your soul or your energy doesn't leave your body upon death, meaning you're stuck in it as you decay, you rot. And your brain rots, so you lose your memories. You can become violent or vegetative or uncaring. It's very hard. It's like having dementia, but in fast forward. And so this is the world that we're in, and it's people, animals, insects, fish. I say insects because that's where we ended issue 5. It's a hard place to negotiate or survive. You know what I mean? And so Jude St. Clair, we start 10 years into the apocalypse in issue number 1, and we're following this cowboy who's the last guy still looking for the answer of why do the dead no longer die, right? So 10 years into the apocalypse, issue 1, Jude St. Clair is basically on his own. He interacts with small, like people for a short amount of time, but you really get to see him like decision making. There's consequences for small actions, major consequences to some of the things that he decides, and they get chased by this giant undead bear named Big James. Issue 2, yeah,
so awesome.
Big James, and then Big James took on a life, and this is funny. He took on a life of his own. He is the fan favorite. He became the unofficial mascot of Path of the Pale Rider. So you're going to see a ton of Big James merch. We have just about everything you can think of. Issue number 2, Jude goes to the town of Santa Claus.
Big James and Sad Puppy. I feel like Big James and Sad Puppy have become like the Sad Pancake. That's it. I feel like they're two sides of the same coin now. I feel like that's your token of Path of the Pale Rider. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We'll have to talk about Sad Pancake, won't we, Gilbert?
Yeah.
So issue number 2, oh, look, it's Pops. Hey, Pops. Issue number 2, Jude St. Clair is in the town of Santa Claus, Arizona, which is a real place, which is funny. And then you get to see him interact with other living people. And it's very much a Western. They play poker. There's a saloon brawl. It's discovered that Jude is looking for a person named Dwayne Fink, who is the town drunk. Yep, there he is. There's Pops. Jude picks a fight on purpose so he can get thrown into the drunk tank with Dwayne Fink, who apparently knows how the apocalypse started, or at least that's what he says, and no one believes him because, again, he's a town drunk. Issue 3, we drop into a flashback. So issue 3 and issue 4, it's like we take you back to the beginning. You get to see the day that Death went missing. Jude St. Clair is a young man. He's an EMT. And so he witnesses firsthand trying to save a dude that got just smeared across the road by a 16-wheeler, man. That guy's name is Frederick Needlemeyer. I like that name. That's pretty funny. And so, Dwayne, you need to lay off the sauce. Anyway, so Jude gets to experience firsthand, the fall of society. Him and his family are at home watching the news. Bad news after bad news after bad news. And then the rights start getting taken away from the undead, where it's like, you can't drive anymore, and there's a curfew, and you can't vote, you can't own property, you can't own firearms. There are resistance fighters, right? So now we're pushing back against the government. We have discs to wear, which show your heartbeat, which is how they determine whether you're living or not. Eventually, they come and they take the undead out of living communities to quote unquote go to the undead retirement community, but no one's ever seen it, and no one ever sees you again once you go there. So we don't know what it really is. So that catches up to issue 5. Jude has gone through riots. He saved an undead lady named Lola. He sets her on her own path, tells her to fight back, and then encounters a really interesting character dressed in green. They have a tense moment, and Jude says, "What the hell is that thing?" Even though he looks human, we don't know. And then we pick up issue 5. How's that? Did I do a good job, Jason?
Okay. That was pretty solid. You
okay.
got it. It was succinct. I'll use a different word other than fresh.
Fresh is the word of the night, though. I don't know.
It totally is. So I got to read this first page of issue 5 before we do anything else. So this is, I'm not going to try to screen share right now because I'm just not going to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But there we go. He's got the book right here. I tried to post a thumbnail of the book. You guys both have it. Page 1 says July 4th, 2020. Today we celebrate our independence, or what's left of it. Sometimes I can't tell if it's fireworks or firearms. There's just a ton of unrest, and different parts of the country seem to be dealing with much worse than we are. I don't know how much longer we will be the United States.
So the crazy thing about this,
you gotta stop. You gotta stop, dude.
Here's the crazy part about all this. I wrote this in 2018, right? I wrote it in 2018, all as one script, right? So this issue 5 that we're releasing was written in 2018 with the rest of them. The fact that it's getting released now, when we're going through this stuff, freaks me out.
Bananas.
And we released the PDF on November 5th. That's election day. I quit.
That's pretty wild. You've done enough. But
thank you.
Since it's already done.
Tip your waitress.
Since it's already done.
I think she's done enough. I think she's just getting started.
It's worse than that.
I really feel.
I mean, like, there's stuff that is going on in the.
Believe you.
Well, I mean, there's stuff that happens in the script and things that we haven't released yet that Gilbert and I were like, look at this. And he was like, how are you doing this? And I was like, I don't know. But it's like, we can't even talk about it yet because the book's not out.
I feel like good writing always finds a way. I shouldn't say good writing. Good storytelling always finds a way to connect. Because it's the same thing, like, even with things like pro wrestling, that's storytelling. It finds a way. And when it's good, it finds a way to connect. Your story is good. And guys, this, like, if you read those first issues through the pandemic, it's almost eerie. It really is. And this, like, again, says what you loved about issues 1 through 4 is all going to be just as available and just as current as this next story arc. So
I hope it stops.
I got a question for Gilbert here. I would like to just enjoy the story. I would like to just enjoy the story. Like, it's so good. I would like to just not get the real willies when I'm reading your story and just get the comic book willies.
Yeah. Well, that'll happen. I think it takes a hard step from here on out, I think, away from reality for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yep. But this seems like it's going to be an important story arc for what happens with the rest of the story. Like, the first 4 issues, but it's like now you're getting into, we know what makes these guys tick now. And now it's like, here's where the world is aware of the knobs to turn. Here's where the world is worse. There's worse things than Big James. And that's pretty wild to think about.
Isn't that scary? That's scary.
Yeah. So, Gilbert, where do you drop in on something that's obviously ramping up and in story and in real life. You know what I mean? Like this is catching attention now. Like this book is catching attention. So how do you attack a story like this?
Well, honestly, it was really kind of difficult, especially with issue 5, because I feel like that was sort of the you've got issues 1 through 4. It's already been established. They got another artist, and like the tone is already set. So it's like I have to pick up where he left off and make sure that, what I do and what I produce is not going to negatively impact, the Pal Rider in any way. But I feel like in doing the sketch work and kind of laying out my panels and going back and forth with Laurie, I feel like I managed to do a pretty good job of, picking up where Marco left off. Not Marco. It's like you said before. I'm gonna draw in my own way, in my own style. Yeah. But I think
absolutely,
that
you should.
Yeah, and I do think that my style it complements the story.
Absolutely.
So
I totally agree, 100%.
And 100% for sure. Getting into the story, like Laurie sent me all the arcs. She sent me all the scripts, and I'm just like, people don't even know what's going to happen. And I'm like, I'm one of the worst people to like keep secrets, but I've been doing a great job.
Well, you have to, sir. You signed an NDA, so.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I've done a phenomenal job. You got to pat me on the back there, Laurie.
I'll pat you on the back. Sure, absolutely. You better keep doing it too.
I'm doing good. And the thing is that everything that comes up in terms of what Laurie's ideas are for the campaigns and for merchandise, all that stuff, I'm 100% on board. I would say maybe in the last couple of weeks, I've produced probably the most I have for her in quite a while. And she's slowly releasing some of it, as we get through the campaign.
Yeah, I'm going to keep releasing stuff as we go, but I like to tease. I don't give everybody everything all at once. I never do. And I mean, like you're talking about you keeping the secret. I've been keeping the secret for longer than you. And you know how long I've been like, I just really want to get to issue number 7. Like, I really want to get there. So, and we're almost there. So it's going to be earth shattering when we do next issue.
I agree.
I'm excited.
But like,
I can't wait.
Even like coming up with like new ideas and
you
just
did the Big Jude in
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That one was I don't know if you can see
it.
That was pretty dope. I saw that yesterday. That was great.
Well, it's available on the campaign now. You can get prints. I have 5x7s, 8x10s prints, but I also have the wooden...
Laurie, you gotta...
Yes?
You gotta send me a link to the Kickstarter. You gotta send me a link
I put it in the private chat.
I don't...
Oh, no, I didn't.
You did?
I logged out and
I'll
came
find
back.
it.
It's like, I put it somewhere.
I can put the link.
Yeah, put it.
Yeah, anybody send me the link. I'll share it on the screen because this is you have some of the best perks. Like your perks for the what is this? Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it.
You want me to share?
You guys have some of the. I would love if you would share screen. That would be awesome. I feel like my link is my connection is so fragile. I don't want to share a screen because I don't want to. I would rather talk to y'all.
Yeah.
Than not talk to y'all. So I'm just trying to do the best I can here.
It didn't let me post it.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, put it in the private
Let's
chat
see.
and then
I
you
think
can
I
post
did
it.
There we go.
Let's see. Does that give us a whole Kickstarter link? It does. Fantastic.
It's the short link. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. and I will put this in the description. I'll put your link in the description of this video. So
okay.
If we get this shared around, then people can look at it. You have some of the best perks. Like your perks are all fun. They're all fresh. They're all like it's pretty enjoyable to have good stuff to get when you back a comic, because there's a lot of Kickstarter comics, and so yours stuff is the stuff that stands out the most. So good on you.
That's the goal. I mean, you have to stand out from the crowd. I did a show this morning where I was interviewing a guest, and he was like, I've never run a Kickstarter before, and I was like, well, first thing you should do is just go look at Kickstarters, go look at thumbnails, see what attracts your eye, click in there and look at their rewards. Look at ones that are doing well, look at ones that are not doing well, and maybe see the difference, right? But there was something like 265 live comic book campaigns right now. So what are you doing?
That's bananas.
To set yourself apart from the other 264
How do you
campaigns.
Stand out?
Yeah. That's the hard part. So that's where I think I excel at that, where I try to think outside the box, because everybody has bookmarks. Everybody has stickers. But does everybody have scratch and sniff stickers of zombie flesh? No.
No, Laurie.
They don't.
No, Laurie, no, they don't. Do they have hot sauce? Like, do they have wooden covers? Do they have secret rewards? Do their comics have riddles on the back of them? You see what I mean? Like, we have to do something to set ourselves apart. And I think that when people know we exist, if we check the boxes that they're interested in, they come along. You know what I mean?
That's showing up. Absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm. And one of the really cool things is you do so much of the work for your Kickstarter. Like, you create so many of the things in your own time with your own hands. And that's pretty remarkable. And that's what you get when you back comics that are not fed through the quote unquote machine. Like, don't get me wrong. If I had an opportunity to write for an Image or a DC or a Marvel, of course I would. But there's something to be said about doing it. Like the little comics that I do, I love the idea that I print them from my printer at home. Like, it just says so much, you know what I mean? And this is mine. Like, this is not mine that somebody else blew wind in the sails. This is just mine. This is just y'all's. You know what I mean? Like, so it's
What'd you say? I missed
it. It comes from the soul.
Comes from the soul. It's the passion behind it. You can tell. We love this thing.
100%. Yep.
So
it shows. Like, the story is so well written, the artwork is so consistent, and as somebody that does at least do comics, consistency from panel to panel with characters is so. It's not the only thing, but when it's there, it really does connect you in a different way. And when you have these sections of the story that have these big spaces, it says something when you don't have to wonder what character is what. And to kind of segue into large spaces, I would love to hear from both of y'all I would love like a mini director's cut on the supermarket.
Oh yes, that is one of my favorite scenes. Just because, again, it's a throwback to 4, because Jude goes through this riot. He meets an undead woman named Lola. He throws her in a freezer chest to save her ass from collectors, and then they go their separate ways. And then in issue 5, it's like reversed. So in 4, the riot is the living are the majority and the undead are the minority, right? And they clash, and the undead collect a bunch of the undead, and they cart them off to God knows where. But in issue 5, the undead are now the majority.
Yeah.
Right. And so Jude's on the other end of it, and Lola finds him in a grocery store, and it's just like it's the reverse situation where she finds him and decides to spare his life, because it is now her main purpose to go around taking out as many people as possible and ending their heartbeats, because it's increasing their numbers. That's her job, which then leads us to Sad Pancake, of course. But the grocery store, let's talk about. I can share that too. Give me 1 second. I'll bring it up here, Jason. Do. So I have to say,
both of y'all, I do love the Men in Black reference when Jude puts on his fresh cowboy clothes. It's pretty awesome.
I thought that was a fun moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Make this look good.
Yeah. All right. So issue 5. So of course I don't do normal thank you pages either. So if you come across our books, our thank you pages are always something different, and they actually will tell you about the story. So this is it's like a guest book for the town of Santa Claus, and there's a beetle on it. I think that's funny.
Damn beetles.
Damn beetles. Yeah. Right. All right. So here we are with Jude trying to get a horse. He has just left the scene we left him at 4. And of course, how did you feel about seeing Prince again, Jason?
Oh, fantastic. I love the callbacks. Like they all counted. So it was pretty fun.
I like being far enough in the story where it's like you can bring back characters. Like we brought back Prince, and you see Lola again. Yep. And then we're with Dwayne. So it's like you have attachment to them, because it's like we missed them, man. So yeah, here's this Men in Black throwing. I thought it was funny. I'll make this look good. All right, so Jude's in this grocery store. Here's a voice and immediately pulls his gun, and it's the TV in the grocery store, and it's the president saying, "I am here to address the nation as we stare into the abyss. The West has fallen to gangs of the undead, and I assure you, moving north is the right thing to do. The undead dislike the cold." And Jude says, "President Harrison, I thought he died like 2 years ago." Dun, dun, dun. Foreshadowing. And of course, the president says, "It is with great sadness I say America is no longer united." I'm like, crap. And then, of course, there's a sound. And outside here is this giant posse of undead banditos. And they're pulling people out of houses, and they're looking for anybody with a heartbeat. Now, and this is interesting. I don't know if people caught this, but the president is talking about the gangs of undead, and their leader is called Jet and is out west. And if you keep reading, when Lola is giving directions, they are talking to her and referring to her as Jet. And if you solve the riddle on the back of 5, it will explain more of that, about how the undead underground is organized in their hierarchy, and how that title of Jet gets passed around.
These panels just remind me of everything I loved about 90s cartoons. It's just, it feels good, but it's gory enough to remind us like we're not kids anymore. Like, but that style still like captures my imagination like immediately. It's so good. Like it's so money.
Cool. I'm glad you like it.
Now, this is one of my favorite panels, is Lola just like putting the gun in the reader's face. She's just gorgeous to me, the way that you drew her. You really understood what I was going for with her, where she's undead, but she's still badass, and she's beautiful. She's gory.
Right.
There's people shipping a relationship between her and Jude. Do you know that?
Makes sense.
I mean, I guess.
No, I did not.
I was like, really? I'm like, necrophilia is still a thing? No? Okay. All right. But it cracks me up that, in issue 4, Jude shoved Lola in this freezer. And so again, that's what he's doing is it worked last time. So he's going in the freezer. But of course it's Lola. So she knows to look there. And it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in years. And look what she's become. And so, it was interesting to draw Lola in issue 4. Only one half of her face was decayed. And so from one side, she looked human, and from one side, she looked undead. And the reason why she was kind of at that crossroads of which way she was going to go, how she was going to decide to move forward in this world. And so now it's like with both sides of her face decayed, she's embraced that undead underground and taken on like a role within their ranks. So that was the reason why Lola became Yeah. She's like, what are you doing? She's like, resisting. Look at that look. What were you thinking here?
Karina said Jola or Lude.
What?
Jola or Lude.
Someone wants to combine those two?
Yeah.
Jola and Lude. No, that would be weird.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm enjoying what you're doing with the James.
It's kind of like when they what was it? It was like Jennifer Aniston and Ben Affleck.
Like Bennifer, yeah.
When they put their names together when they're Bennifer. I get what you're saying. I was like, you're not going to draw them as one person, are you?
No.
I was like, we got Big Jude. I don't know. I thought that's what we were doing.
It's a little too much.
That'd be weird. Yeah, no, thank you. All right. So, even though they're having this moment where they're seeing each other again and talking about what they've been doing, the TV is still going. And so the president is still addressing people, but there's a freaking coup on the TV while they're in there. So the government, is overthrown by the military. And they have this lady here who exposes the president as an undead puppet. He's been dead. He's wearing a hacked disc. They take it off and it's still beating, even though it's not attached to him. So
he's being dishonest.
Dude was right when he was like, I thought he died. Oh, yeah, he did. So who's in charge now?
2 years ago.
Yeah, he's still putting makeup on him and making him read speeches. Damn it. Get back to work.
Right. But that's some pretty good longevity. Like even Lola has trained while she's been dead and become like a mercenary.
Yeah.
And it's functional and it's not like her skin is deteriorating, but she hasn't gotten to the brain failure yet. So the president's reading cue cards, she's shooting a 6-gun. Like it lends to a very complex world. It totally does.
Well, and it's one thing I've talked about, but I don't think we've explored in any of the short films or riddles yet. But in this world, I believe that they use like makeup and chemical combinations to almost like self-embalm. You know what I mean? So they can be in their body longer. Their decay goes slower. They might, I haven't figured out the science behind. I got to pick someone else's brain on it. Haha. About how they can make their brain work longer, But that's how I think we would tackle it as humans is how can we stay in our bodies as long as possible, And I love how you drew Jude here. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a slight progression to how you were drawing him.
Yeah.
He looked a little bit different, but that's okay because you know what I mean? It was like getting to know the character yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like when you were here,
you got to know the character. He wasn't in his traditional costume at the beginning. It was completely like fed into each thing, fed to the next thing with this issue, and it just kind of worked.
But I feel like this is where you nailed him. You know what I mean? This is in my mind. This is Jude.
I've started to change how I've gotten a whole lot more comfortable with drawing.
which will continue. You know what I mean? And I can already tell a difference between this issue and what you're working on for 6. It's incredible. And it's like, that's just the natural progression of any artist, is like, you're going to continue to draw and get better at what you do just over time. So I'm really excited for 6 because I've seen, you've seen his work so far. He's nailing it. So that Miguel Blanco is such a freaking badass. What?
I got a question, and I don't want to keep y'all for forever, but like, you know how I do. I always talk to you about your book, Laurie, and we get to talk like writers, and I get to talk to you about where this, like, the seeds of this. Gilbert, as an artist, do you start to pick up on characters that you didn't create, personalities? Like, do you start to like get a feel for them separate of what Laurie might have written? Because this is a side that I've also never done, is writing or is putting art to somebody else's writing. So, or is it just that you just say, okay, I'm just gonna invest in what they're writing, and that's my direction?
No, I have to be careful with what I come up with, if I come up with anything, because that's how you get these panels that you're looking at right now.
How you get Sad Pancake.
Because originally, I think Laurie had said in the script, put the undead lining up the living people up in the street. And I was like, okay, so I did that. I lined them up, and then I, for whatever reason, just felt like I'm gonna draw a dog. So I drew a dog, and like, she took note of that. She honed in on the dog, and then when this scene came up, she's like, "Oh, and don't forget to kill the dog." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" Kill the dog. And I was like, in true Lola fashion, there I go, drawing the dog being killed.
He was like, did Lola's words just come out of your mouth?
And I do have to tell you, there's not many references that I can find for people shooting a dog, So
yeah, not without getting your search history flagged, Yeah.
Welcome to the list. I'm on the list. You betcha I am.
Yeah. So when Laurie says, "Hey, do this, hey, do that," a lot of the time it's kind of difficult to find reference images, because I'm thinking, how's that gonna look, and how am I gonna do that on paper? But I figure out a way. I mean,
it looks great. See?
But yeah, I do get sort of invested in some of the characters that I create, and some of them I'm like, man, I kind of wish I would have been able to use that design later, because they show up briefly and then they're gone.
And Laurie smushes them.
Yeah.
Don't forget to kill the dog has got to be some of the worst management direction you can receive.
What she said. Don't forget to kill the dog.
But Jason, then I had fun with it. I was like, let's go put a poll in the Path of the Pale Rider Facebook group, and we're gonna let the fans name the puppy.
Cool. That was cruel.
It was hilarious, because I was like, they're gonna know why, but no one figured it out.
Chaos.
Like, I think Jason, like, you would have been like, oh, she's gonna kill a puppy, okay. But everybody was just like really into naming this puppy. There had to be a dozen names that people were like going back and forth and voting for this dog's name. And so when I closed the poll and it was Sad Pancake, I was like, they're gonna be so mad at me when we kill this dog. They came for me. It's all right.
You completely broke up on that part.
Oh no, I was saying that they were vying for the name of in the Facebook group in the poll. They went back and forth, and then they finally settled on Sad Pancake, and it was so funny. And then of course they get the book, and we killed the dog. So
I'm gonna show you something, okay, on my phone.
It is.
Yeah.
I've got messages between Laurie and I, and I'm planning out my You can barely see it, but I'm planning out what I'm doing, right? And in this thing, let's see, kind of helps, I think, if I lower the brightness so it's not so crazy. But in this chat, I'm sketching it out, and then I'm telling her, yeah, I can draw the dude differently. And then she goes, don't forget to shoot the dog. That's where she said it. And that was my reaction. Was this girl just crying? And look at her go.
I was like, hey, it's me. I'm Satan. And that's when Gilbert learns not to draw furry animals into Path.
Yeah. So now I'm careful with what I put in there.
Although I gotta say, I'm really looking forward to Sad Pancake showing up in issue 6. Yeah. I really am. And that, you know what, Gilbert?
That's pretty spectacular.
That is the first time that we have deviated from the original script. The first and only time.
You're welcome.
Yes, killing puppies. Good job.
There you go.
Killing dogs.
You got to make it count. You got to cash that chip in when it counts.
Now, there's something special going on this page. There's so many just great pages in this issue of issue 5. So the first 2 panels is Jude getting on Prince, and these are 100% the creation of Gilbert. But if you look at these 2 panels, this is actually the first page of issue number 1. And these are the 2 panels that Marco drew and Gilbert recreated.
Yeah, I redrew them.
So it's a homage to where we came from, and now we pick up and we go forward, right? So
the bridge,
and now we're back.
We're in new territory. Yep.
Yes. So it's kind of like, okay, you remember where issue 1 went, and with the whole Big James chase, and then getting into Santa Claus, and now this is where we catch up with Dwayne Fink. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Do you believe what he says, Jason? That's a good question, isn't it?
What Dwayne says? No, yeah. I don't.
No one ever does.
No. So let's pivot. Let's pivot a tiny bit.
What do you want to see next?
What are we looking at with the Kickstarter for issue 6?
So for issue 6.
There's so many good panels. I just been kind of flipping through the comic as we've been chatting.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Wait. We have to show people the blister beetles.
We got to talk about the bugs. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly where I was.
Okay.
That's exactly where I was.
I was like, Dwayne and Jude kind of talk. Jude picks the lock and gets him out of the jail cell. They encounter Jimmy on the way out, which you're like, this bastard. I thought we got rid of him, right? And it's just like when they're having their moment, they're staring daggers at each other, and you have to look at Dwayne. What is Dwayne doing? And Dwayne's like, that's a weird looking cloud. You're like, they're trashing each other, and he was like, hey fellas, what's this? And of course Jimmy takes off. And Dwayne, do dust clouds buzz? It's like, nope. And he's just very calm, like, wow, that's a whole sky full of beetles. And Jude's panicked. So if you scan this QR code, you can watch a short, it's very short, I think it's like 3 minutes, informational video about what type of beetles these are. And they're called blister beetles. I found the most disgusting beetle that exists in the American West. It apparently breaks its own legs and it excretes poisonous blood onto you, which causes rashes and blisters. And they're poisonous if ingested, and they're terrible. So you got this giant swarm of undead bugs, and down Jimmy goes. And of course, some idiot lit them on fire. And in fact, I think I added a line.
Yeah, Jimmy took the hard.
I did. Okay, so in the comic, this is before I added that. So I added a line for Dwayne that says, "Some idiot lit the swarm on fire." And so someone lit the swarm on fire, and down goes Santa Claus. So they're running away from this giant swarm of flaming beetles. Sorry, it makes me giggle. I'll stop cackling.
No, it's such strong visuals, like 4 pages in a row, like starting with, there's a few panels here and there when Dwayne is looking up at the cloud and the background is completely black and you can just see his eyes trained on something, and then it just kind of goes into these bigger. Yeah.
What did you say, Gilbert? What did you say?
Like you can see.
I just said it happened so fast.
Yeah, it was like they were so focused on each other, both Jude and Jimmy, that they weren't paying attention to anything else going on. And it was like that swarm could have been coming for a while and nobody saw it coming because they're so focused on anything else.
Yeah,
so except for Dwayne. Dwayne saw it. No one pays attention to Dwayne.
Dusk Till Dawn, like vampires all of a sudden.
Yeah. And then running for your life.
Yeah.
And this is the thing about
and it's Jude. Just like through from that page.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Laurie. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say.
I was just going to say, it's just like from that page. We're going to fight in 2 seconds. Okay, you go ahead. I'll say what I was going to say in a minute. I would rather listen to the creators talk.
Gotcha. This is the thing about Jude St. Clair. He has an abundance of luck, but it's good luck and it's bad luck. And it doesn't matter where he goes. There's always seems to be something terrible that's following behind him, but he's lucky enough to get out of it most of the time. And so you never know, though, if his luck is going to run out. So Jimmy's ran out. Okay, totally. You go.
Okay, all I was going to say is these last 5 or 6 pages move so fast. This is where I say these stories kind of feel like they have motion. Like it feels like a scene in a television show or a movie more than a comic, turning pages in a comic book. It's a very, I don't know, it's even hard to connect with because sometimes you want to read a comic for a comic, but this works so well together. And when you said it all happened so fast, you feel it. Like Gilbert, you feel that through the pages. Like you feel how this goes from this to the worst decision of somebody setting the Beatles on fire to Jude and Dwayne, jumping in a river and getting spit out on the other side of it.
My hair is on
surviving,
fire.
just like what you were saying. There's so much, and it just works. Like it just works, and there's really it's like season 2, issue 1, and that's I feel like a mission accomplished. So you guys are on your way to
It kind of is, because remember when I wrote this, it was a full-length movie. So this is the beginning. This is the first issue where it's act 2 of a movie. And so issue 1, we kind of the way that we're releasing our trade paperbacks, it will be like act 1, act 2, act 3 of a movie. And so these next 4 issues are kind of their own little mini arc. And this is where we pick up. So of course everything has to go wrong.
Right.
I need a
no.
vacation.
This is solid, and and before we discuss the Kickstarter more, I will say I feel like this is the issue that will never be able to be. This new energy will never exist again in this story, because now we're into the story. Like we're past the intros. where issue 1 is, but it's like now this is the drop in to this is the march forward. Like, okay, these are the guys. Now, here's what they do. And from that point on, it becomes a different thing. Like, it's not a new story anymore. Now it's like, we got real problems. The world is not the problem anymore exclusively. Now it's like, these guys have these problems.
Yes,
that's
they
all
do.
I got to say for right now.
And we had talked about this last panel, you know, whether we just leave it blank, whether we show him knocked out. And I was just like, let's just have it be black, you know, and leave him with Jude is unconscious. Yep. And I was like, I'm gonna put this one line in Spanish, and then maybe people will figure it out. But maybe
that was a good way to end it.
I thought it was. It's like it leaves you hanging, but it's almost like, solid. Oh God, now what?
Because you just saw them get the damn ringer and then kicked in the face, and then it's like, well, shit, what now?
That's what I'm saying. He just can't catch a break. There's so much good luck and bad luck. Like getting into Santa Claus, that was great luck because he almost didn't make it because of that bear. You know, getting thrown into the jail cell with Dwayne, was also luck because Jimmy just could have shot him. Right? Finding Dwayne, breaking Dwayne out, running into Jimmy, bad luck. A giant swarm of undead beetles, really bad luck. Town's on fire. They make it out alive, kicked in the head. Bad luck. So we're gonna
you know what I like about this?
Yeah.
What I like about the death camp in Spanish thing is for people who don't have access to Spanish, people who don't know Spanish, it makes you look for a translation on this, and then off of the comic you get that last little you get that last little reveal that is been removed from the book itself, and that's everything. Like, those are the little things that make me giddy as somebody who reads comics and appreciates it as part of the creation side of it as well, because this is how you get people's hooks. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so well done, and I think that leaving the panel blank was obviously the best choice because you want to know more, and this is where you want to know more.
That's why I'm called the queen of the cliffhanger. You want to see what happens next.
You have earned your crown with this one. Absolutely. You got to know. How could you just say, well, issues 1 through 5 were awesome, but I think this is where I just read about the rest when somebody else talks about it. No, This is it's a really spectacular book, y'all. Like, I've said that to Laurie now 4 times. This is the 4th time we've done a live. So I've said that to you 4 times, but I promise you, I say it for a different reason just about every time. And Gilbert, like, you're a part of that now. And so I think that this has a very strong future. And I'm excited to see what happens in issue 6 and wherever the last issue leads, if there needs to be one.
I am too. I'm excited.
Like, we're getting into the good stuff now. I think, when Gilbert came on, I was like, this is the perfect time for you. Yeah. I was like, all that stuff that we talked about that you wanted, you're going to get it right now, because that's where we are in the story. It takes off with issue 5 and it does not stop. So we got lots of stuff to cover, especially in these next 4 issues, which will make up the next trade paperback. So 5, 6, 7, and 8 are pretty wild. So
this is a pretty chunky run here. Like, I'm excited. This would be this is the story you want to read. Like this arc is the one where if you don't read this and want to go back and read 1, you're definitely gonna read 6. But I feel like that this is a pretty special point. So I'm all in, and this is a Kickstarter that I'm going to make sure I find a way to back 100%.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that.
Wait, I mean, are you done? You're not done yet, are you? Got 22 days left, but look at what you've done already.
Yeah, and I mean, like we go until the end of February, so we have 22 more days to go. We launched this less than a week ago, and we've broken 2 stretch goals. We were funded in 25 hours, and our goal is nothing to sneeze at. Our goal isn't $500; it's $4,550.
That was awesome.
So it was incredible.
That's pretty wild, guys.
Yeah.
And then
we did the launch party.
That makes the creation process even better because you guys know what you need to know. So now it's like you're off the leash now. So go for it.
Go and create. Exactly. Go have fun with it. Be passionate. And we laugh and gosh, Gilbert makes such cool stuff. I don't think, do I have it? Wait.
I want that Sean and Ed shirt.
You want to make it a shirt?
Yeah, I want a shirt.
I didn't throw that in the shirt. Gosh, I make my own shirts, you guys. So at this point, we could really make anything. Where are we? Closer look at what's bit. So look, he did this Big Boy James, which is amazing. I had to add that. And like this vicious Big James is just gorgeous. Like we have cool merch, man. If you like Big James, if you like giant, this one's just funny, but it's like we have cool stuff, man. And I make hoodies. You're
investing in a mall. You know what I mean? Like there's so many options that you get, and like again, I do believe that there's something to be said about you putting this shit together yourself. Like you do this, and that's. In a world where everybody has something to say about things coming from imported and mass produced and sweatshops, like you're doing this work yourself. So it doesn't get much more support indie and support local than supporting Path of the Pale Rider. Like, yeah. I
mean, like we've been doing fun custom pops since the beginning. So this is, gosh, June. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on our 6th pop. Because when I ran the first campaign, like these are custom made, so these are not cheap. I was like, no one is going to want to dish out this kind of money for a Funko Pop, and definitely not for a story that no one's ever heard of. And it was like the third thing that got pledged on our first campaign, and I was like, okay, so I'm paying attention now, right? And people love these, and there's a small group of people that are collecting these, but the thing is that we're going forward. So if you get one of, like, we made max of 5, so let's say you get one of 3, it's even more exclusive. But then people are now asking me to go back and remake the pops, like the Big James one. Everybody wants me to go back to this one. So what I'm thinking of doing is eventually we can open up Funko Pops, maybe a different design, but still Big James, because I don't want to take away the exclusivity of what those people got. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You keep what got you there special, but you find a way to get the people what they want, which you've done consistently now for going on 6 issues. So that's great shit, man. I wish I had a bigger platform so that I could make sure more people heard about this, but I love chatting with you guys about this stuff. And if I'm gonna do it, at least I get to do it in a way. Oh, check this out. That is awesome.
Did you see? Of course he does the covers traditionally.
Yeah, this is paper, pen and paper.
Yep. This is so gorgeous. I didn't even realize that you had a bowl for Sad Pancake until Matt colored it, and I was like, "What the?"
All these little details, I try to put in there.
I love that. I love that. We have puzzles.
Yep.
We have our choose your own adventure book, which we call, of course, choose your own path, where you get to put on the hat and boots and go experience the apocalyptic West yourself. You get to run bounties. I kill you in about 75,000 different creative ways. This was just something random. Like I went to the ceramics place and I made a POTPR mug for myself, which was green. And I love the design so much. I was like, maybe someone would want it. So I put it on the camp, gone 15 seconds. It was gone. And then I rebind books. That one went
pretty nice design. Yep.
So we're doing some new stuff, some swag bags. We get a ton of merch because a lot of times I'm ordering things for campaigns that are, like 74 are going out. So I get 100. So I have like some buttons left, or I have stickers left, or you know what I mean? And so I'll put swag packs together for people just with some random stuff. So if, you get a $10 bag, you'll probably get multiple small items. You get a $25 bag, you'll probably get a bigger item in there along with some smaller items. So canvas bags and hot sauce. Gosh, these all sold out in 10 seconds.
I gotta try some of the hot sauce because hot sauce is where it's at. And you make the hot sauce.
I do. What were you gonna say, Gilbert?
That's pretty.
I can't remember the names of all the sauces.
Oh, so the one on the right, this is Path of the Pale Sauce. It's a barbecue ghost pepper.
I think that one was my favorite.
Was it? That's the flagship. That's the one I've been doing the longest. Like that was the one that kind of started it all. And then I created these two. Like I found a recipe and I tweaked it to make my own and make it my own, So we have Meet Your Maker, Mango Habanero, and then we have Heart-Stoppin' Jalapeno Serrano. So these are the three that I can make regularly. This Jack's Revenge, and kudos to Gilbert who helped me design this. I was coming up with stuff and he's like, that's not Jack the Ripper. And he drew a freaking jackfruit as Jack the Ripper. And I was like, this is so cool.
That's awesome.
Isn't he cool? But this is so we did the slice and dice last campaign and I murdered jackfruit. So these 6 bottles that were on the campaign were made from the jackfruit that I killed last time. The jackfruit that the fans named cool. Jack the Ripper. They're gone, by the way. We have unlocked.
Was it good?
It's delicious. So I probably will make more just because it's too dang good not to. But it's a pain in the butt. Yeah. Like I can make these 3. I made a single batch of each one of these in one afternoon. I can do 3 batches, but this one takes an entire day to do by itself because a jackfruit is just a pain in the butt to take apart.
I see. Okay.
Poker cards. We're I think we have 81 backers, so we'll unlock the next one at 100 backers. So we're not too far away. But we've unlocked.
How many cards have you gotten? So how many cards have you done so far? Have you done a full deck yet?
No. Well, I mean, like how many we designed? Deck? We've released these.
You've designed a full deck, yeah.
Oh, well, I have all the number cards and the themes, but there's characters that we have not seen in the comic yet.
Ah, very nice. Okay. They look great.
Thank you. And I love that it's kind of like a hodgepodge of all the artists. You know what I mean? So you're going to get Marco characters. You're going to get Gilbert characters. The big James is actually Everett Watkins. So you're just going to get a bunch of the aces are David Rodriguez. So it's like all the artists that have kind of like touched Path get to be a part of the deck, which I think is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you want me to go. Okay. So we unlocked this today and I haven't done an update yet, but I will. So we unlocked 3 indie PDFs. I think I'm going to add another one to this. But I have about 20. So every time we unlock another stretch goal, we unlock another bundle of indie PDFs as well. So these stack. Mm-hmm.
Yep. You're getting a few more creators on the map. Like that's pretty dope, Laurie. That's awesome.
I love this. This is going to be a
That's great. I used to love going to Shoney's as a kid, and we had a big boy outside of our Shoney's. And it's like, this reminds me of that every time I come across it. That's so awesome.
Yeah, he's super cute. I am gonna have 3D printed versions of him too, but the guy that was doing the build went on vacation, so they won't be ready when we're fulfilling campaign. So I will bring them back probably for issue number 7.
I was gonna say that'll still be exciting whenever it shows up. That's great. There's your scratching sniffs.
Yeah, look. These are so cool, Gilbert. I couldn't believe I found a place that will make scratch and sniff stickers. I thought that because I was looking into ways to try and figure it out myself. And then I found them I think I found them on Etsy. And then they had just a couple things on Etsy, but they have this huge website where you can pick from 150 cents. And so again, like Gilbert designed all these and I just upload the art, they print them and then centify them and ship them to me. And I'm going to unwrap them like it's Christmas Day when they come in.
I told Laurie they look like pogs.
They do. I want to make us pogs, and no one else got excited.
Like pogs, yeah.
I was like, let's make pogs, and everybody on the internet was like, don't. And I was like, fine, Gilbert and I will play.
They were like the internet hadn't been discovered when these were popular.
I have there's like maybe 2 or 3 different tubes about this big, just filled with pods.
Yep.
That's hilarious. I don't have any of mine anymore. Yep. I just recently got rid of all my magic cards too.
They were everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we get to 7, if we get to 7, I'll do temporary tattoos. We did this on another campaign. This is an updated design. They're a ton of fun. They look so rad when you've had them on and then they start to like deteriorate because the last batch were pink underneath. So it was black and then it would like fade to black with some pink and then it was pink with some black and then they were straight up pink and it was badass. So
it was like they decayed. That's awesome.
Yes. But it was like I got to wear it for a week and I put it on and I went to a Comic-Con and it was a lot of fun. So there is a standalone Big James script. We haven't produced it yet, but if we get to 8,000, maybe we'll have 2 pages produced and I'll put them in there.
Oh, that's robust.
And Gilbert, you should just do it at this point for Pete's sakes. Anyway, go explore the rest of the stuff that's on the page. Again, we do riddles. You can uncover phone numbers. You can uncover hidden videos on YouTube. You can uncover a Wikipedia that I built with the hierarchy and the history of the undead, the Undead Underground. We do fan interactive short films. These are funny and poignant, and they explore things that we just don't have time to do in the comic. So it's great. You know what, Gilbert? You guys, even though you know the pages here, you didn't realize that I updated everybody's title.
Ninja Turtles mega fan.
I did it for everybody, and no one said anything. I was like, look at Matt's. I was like, biggest anime fan of the year award, which is fake, but I thought it was funny, and I was like, I was waiting for someone to call me out on it. Look at Rachel's. It was like musical theater fan and enthusiastic cosplayer. No one noticed. So that's all the important stuff. If you are an international backer, we have a digital option for all of the issues, but we also have a physical trade paperback option. So if you're in Denmark or you're in Australia or you're in Canada, you can get this trade paperback physical copy just by clicking on this green link here. It takes you over to ASAP Imagination and you can order a physical copy there. If you're in the US, you can just order it right from the Kickstarter and I'll send you from here. So, and again, we don't use AI. There'll be no fat, giant AI bears in our comics. We don't support it.
Excellent.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
So we did 1 hour and 20, y'all. I think that was a pretty fun 1 hour and 20 minutes. I'm sorry. It felt a little like I was a little chaotic with my technology in the beginning, but here we are. I feel like we accomplished. I'm satisfied. I kind of went into this a little colder than I wanted to, but I feel like this was a lot of fun. Gilbert, are you on social media at all? I know you said you didn't have a website, but do you do Instagram? Do you do any socials?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I usually post videos about like how I do my artwork, and I'm really big about the process, so you can see how I'm doing all these drawings and stuff.
It was a lot of
Excellent.
fun.
Okay.
He was live on TikTok. He was live on TikTok drawing the first 4 pages, and I just got to hang out and watch. It was like I was standing over his shoulder.
Very cool.
without awesome. The creepiness of standing over his shoulder.
It's fun. I mean, I don't care if there's one person watching me or 15 people or whatever. It's there if people want to see. I'm just having fun drawing.
You're doing your thing. That's awesome. Yeah. And it shows that you enjoy what you're doing. Like the pages speak for themselves. So really, really enjoyed this first issue. Not that I ever had any doubts about Path of the Pale Rider, but visually I'm as confident in this story that I've ever been at any point. And I've really enjoyed this book. And so I see no reason why this won't be as much of a home run as any of the others. So Laurie, where can we find you? You do a gajillion lives. So where are you next?
Well, tonight, no, I'm just kidding. I'm done for the night. I have to go post an update to the Kickstarter, let everybody know we broke a stretch goal. But what is tomorrow? Thursday, I have blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be on Thirstatoes. It's a Canadian draw stream with Laurie Cunningham, and she draws a series called Evil Potatoes or Demon Potatoes. I forget which one. But her characters are potatoes. So I'm going to go and draw Big James as a potato tomorrow on her live stream. And I'm not an artist, so it's going to look awesome. Like a real potato, probably, instead of a Big James potato. But it's going to be a fun time. And so I think I have one on Friday. I got one on Saturday. I'm just going to be everywhere. But if you want to follow my social media, I'm mostly posting on Facebook. I have a Facebook group called Path of the Pale Rider. They get the updates first. They get the inside scoop. We play games. We do polls. They name doomed puppies. I mean, that's what we do there. I'm also on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Threads. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on I'm on X. I'm on all the things. So I'm not hard to find. You just have to look for Laurie Calcaterra. I have a YouTube channel. I host the Tuesday Morning Brew every week at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I host any One World Showcase at Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I have a podcast every other Friday called Killer Karen, which is an intentional dumpster fire. Enjoy it.
Fantastic.
Gilbert, you should.
All right. Well, guys,
I have a work event tomorrow, but I mean...
Well, those are recorded, so because they're so bad. Well, we're gonna get you on that one too. Cool.
Yeah,
all right.
Whatever.
All right. Well, YouTube, I'm gonna wrap up, but no, go check out the Kickstarter. I will put the link in the description for this video on my YouTube. Congratulations, guys! Like. It's very easy to have to decide to do a comic. It's another thing to take it to the level that you guys have, and to be doing a Kickstarter that's already successful, and your own issue 6 says that the people believe that it's as good as you guys are aiming to make it. So keep going, and can't wait to see what's next. All right. I'm going to end the stream now. Y'all be good. Everybody have a good night. Go wash your hands. Don't breathe in nobody's face. Cough in your elbow. Good night.
Good night.